And then we're just going to take our crankshaft, once we get our seal on, and very gently lay it evenly into the block, just like that. So your crank's going to sit like that. We're going to put a little lube on the top of each bearing here. And next we're going to take our bed plate, and we want to make sure that all our bearings in here, and we're going to set our bed plate. Now from the factory, you have to use a Ford approved silicone sealer here. Since this is just a demo, we're not going to put sealer on here. You can see where the factory put that on. There is no gasket that goes between this bed plate and the block. It's actually sealer that is specified by Ford Motor Company. So once you get the bearings in your bed plate, and of course we have all our bolts here, we just let the bolts line our bed plate up, and the bed plate just gently sets down on there. You want to push it down until it's flush. And then of course we're going to torque our bolts in sequence. Remember, there is a torque sequence here. Off camera I went ahead and torqued these. Once you get this torqued, you need to make sure you can rotate the crank freely. There shouldn't be any binding here at all. We also need to recheck our end play on this and make sure that we have the correct end play. Our next step is installing the piston and rod assemblies. Now what you'll notice, this is the front of our block up here. If you look at these cylinders, you can actually see that this cylinder here is further forward. That on most engine denotes the lead cylinder, or number one. If you draw a straight line through this cylinder, you'll find out that it's somewhere back here. So this cylinder up here on the right side of the block is actually our lead cylinder, so that's number one. The way Ford numbers their cylinders is if one is here, they'll say 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 over here. Now with our piston and connecting rods, we need to make sure that they go in the correct orientation. This is my number one piston, and you'll notice on the piston here there is a number one stamped here. We've marked all these. And also there is an arrow on the front of the piston right there. It's kind of hard to see, but there's an arrow there. The arrow denotes the front of the engine. That goes toward the front of the engine. So this is my number one cylinder here, which is down here. So this rod would go in just like this. This rod and piston would go in like this with the arrow facing forward. So what we want to do is we want to take our rod cap off and make sure that our bearings are installed in here. So we've got our bearings installed in the upper end of our rod and our cap, and of course we've put some lubricant on those. We don't want them to go in dry. Now this is my number one cylinder here. In order to get the rings into I have to use a ring compressor. Alright, so traditionally what a lot of people use is this band style ring compressor, and this just there's a pair of pliers, special pliers that goes on here, and you put this on the piston and you just kind of squeeze the pliers so you get that. These are very problematic. This is this band type ring compressor. The best thing you can do with this ring compressor is throw it in the trash. Get rid of it because it's absolute garbage. I want to introduce you to the best ring compressor in the history of the universe, and that is the tapered cone ring compressor. Now there's a lot of companies that make this. This one here was made by Total Seal, and the nice thing about Total Seal is they will make you any size cone you want. At my shop I have a whole array of these. I have a whole wall full of these. Every time I do an engine and I don't have the correct compressor size, the bore size, I just have them make me one. So I just give them the specs, tell them what size the cylinder is, and they'll make you. So what you do is you now you want to make sure that you stagger your ring end gaps. You want to take your ring end gaps on your compression rings. You can see we've got them both right at the same place there. Take the top one and rotate it so they're staggered. This is a tapered cone, so the big part of the cone goes up. So you just come up from the bottom of your connecting rod here, and you just let your skirts go right into that compressor. You probably got to work your rings down in. Once you get the rings down, you want to get the piston inside the ring compressor like that, just like that, so it's down inside. And now I can go ahead and put this in my cylinder, but I want to put my journal protectors on here to protect my crank first. So for this particular setup with the rod bolts, rather than the rod studs, we need to put these soft aluminum protectors in here. We lubricated the bearing, and now we make sure that our arrow is facing forward, and you want to orientate your motor so the cylinder is about at that angle. And then you just take, now the other thing is you want to make sure that your crankshaft for the cylinder you're putting in, which in this case is number 1 here, we want to bring that down to bottom dead center. We want that at the bottom of the travel. That way when we get our rod in, we'll have easy access to put the bearing on here. So we're just going to very gently slide the connecting rod into the bore like so. And what you want to do is you want to get your skirts started in the bore. Remember, the skirts are sticking down below the compressor here. So go ahead and get the skirts started in the bore. Now if it doesn't want to go in there, you may have to rotate the crank a little. Okay, so this doesn't want to go in. If I just turn my crank a little bit, it just pops right in. So you may have to fine tune it with your crank here. But now that we've got that in, and like I said, the other type of compressor, you got to worry about the ring popping out and all that stuff. With this ring compressor, you're done. You just put it in, no worries, ready to go. And then on the bottom side, once you get the rings in, then you just very carefully slide your piston down over the crank journal. Then we're going to remove our journal protectors and install our cap. Now again, make sure that the notches, the 2 locating notches for the bearing, match the notches on the connecting rod. So my notches on this cap are on this side, and the notches on my rod are on the inside there. So I'm going to take these notches and make sure they go to that side. Very gently put your cap on, run the bolts down finger tight, and then you want to torque these to specifications. Alright guys, so we've got our rod bolts torqued here. Now also you want to make sure that the crankshaft rotates freely. If you do get some binding, you're going to have to loosen up that connecting rod and figure out why it's doing that. We don't have any of those issues here. Now we're just going to repeat that same operation for each one of the other 5 cylinders, and once we get that done, we'll come back and we'll talk about the next step.